Welcome to the House of Maths. Today we're looking at quadratic equations and in particular completing the square. And we're looking at where a is negative. So remember, here's our general form of the quadratic and a is this coefficient here and it's negative. In this case, remember that this is -1 there. We don't write the 1 in there, but it is there. So it's -1x squared. So how do we complete the square on this? Well, what we want to do to start with is factor out this -1. So we're going to have negative, and then I'm going to have x squared minus 4x plus 2. So if you think about this, minus 1 in effect times x squared is minus x squared, and -1 times minus 4x gives us the positive 4x. Now we can go ahead and complete the square. Now I'm assuming you know how to do this. If you've not, check out one of my earlier videos. Okay, so the technique here is we're going to have our minus, then we're going to have a big bracket and a smaller one. So we halve this, square it, and add it to both sides. So we get x minus 2 squared. So we've halved it here. Square it is 4. Add it to the other side, and then bring it back. So we're going to get minus 4 plus 2 equals 0. So we end up with this situation. Now we're going to multiply out the big brackets. So remember, this is -1. So we're going to get minus x. And then -1 times -4 is going to be +4. Okay, so that's going to give us +4. And we've got this +2 here. So we're going to get +6. So I can just write +6 here equals 0. And this is the completed square form for this quadratic. And remember, it's the x value that's going to make this 0 that we're interested in. So x equals 2. And the y value is this one here, which is 6. So that gives us, in this case, the maximum point for this quadratic. You can then go on and solve this if you want to. So if we were to do that over here, I'm going to take the 6 to the other side first. So I've got minus equals -6. Then I'm going to, remember we've got -1 here, I'm going to divide by -1. So -6 over -1. So hopefully you can see that's just going to give us 6. So then I'm going to take square roots of both sides. So I'm going to get x minus 2 here, square root of 6. Then I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to get plus or minus. Remember, when you take a square root, you can either have a positive or negative outcome. So that is our solution, or those are our two solutions. 2 plus root 6 or 2 minus root 6. And then we can use all the information we've got here, if we wanted to very quickly sketch what this curve looks like. Now remember, with this, when we've got a negative x squared, that's going to give us an n-shaped curve. So we should be looking for a curve that goes that way. So let's see what we get. If I put my y and x here, we know our solutions are 2 plus root 6. Now root 6 is about 2.4, so that's going to be about 4.4. So we'll have a solution here, and 2 minus 2.4 is going to be roughly -0.4. Our maximum point is 2, 6, so that's going to be somewhere up here. And we also know from the curve, we know that this point here gives us our intercept on the y-axis. So that's going to be somewhere around about here. So I think you can see the shape of the curve is going to go, not drawn that brilliantly, it should be symmetrical, but it's going to be roughly like that. Okay, so that's how we deal with completing the square where a is negative, in this case, -1. What happens if we've got a bigger value in here? Okay, let's have a look at what we do then. So let's say we've got a quadratic like that. What do we do here? Well, the first thing we're going to do, we need to factor out this -5. That's the first thing we want to do. So I'm going to pull out my -5, and in brackets I'm going to have x squared plus 4 over 5x plus 9 equals 0. So pull that out first, pull this -5 out. So you've not got a coefficient in front of this x squared here. So you can then go ahead and complete the square. So let's do that. So -5, so remember, big bracket, then the inner bracket. So we're going to have x plus, so we want we're halving this. Okay, so 4 over 10 squared. Okay, if we're halving that, 405, remember halving it is just like timesing it by a half. So multiply across the top 4, across the bottom 10. So 4 over 10 is what you're going to get there. Okay, so that's that bit. And then, so we've halved it, we need to square it, add it to the other side, and then bring it back. So that's squaring that is going to be 16 over 100. Add it to the other side, bring it back. Like so. So we reach that position. Then we're going to multiply out the big brackets. Actually, I'm going to simplify that. That can go down to 2/5. And then we're going to do -5 times -16 over 100. So -5 times -16 is going to give us plus 80 over 100. And then we've got plus 9 there. So we just need to tidy up this bit. So hopefully you can see that we can cross off one of those zeros and just get 8/10 or 4/5. So our completed square form is going to be this. So I'm going to say 9 and 4/5. So that's our completed square form. So our maximum point is going to be where the contents of this bracket is 0. So that's going to be -2/5 for x. And this is going to be our y coordinate. So y equals 9 and 4/5. So that will give us the location of our maximum point on this quadratic. We can then go ahead and solve this if we want to. If I just come up here a little bit, so I've got some space. So first thing we want to do is, let's just write this one down again. Oops. 9 and 4/5. That equals 0. So we'll take this to the other side first. Okay, then we want to divide by -5. So I missed the squared out there. So if I make this an improper fraction, I'm going to get that. And I'm going to divide it, if I write it this way, I'm going to divide it by minus 5. Okay, so I've got to deal with that here. Now what I'm going to do is can you see that we've got a negative divided by a negative? So that's going to give us a positive. So we've got 49 over 5, and I'm going to flip that or change that from divide to multiply, and I just flip this upside down like that, so I get 49 over 25 there. And if I just pull this down, because we've still got that. Okay, so if I take square roots of both sides, I'm going to get x plus 2/5 equals, now I can square root. Fortunately, those two numbers are nice square numbers, so that's nice. That's going to give us 7 over 5. Don't forget, because we square rooted it, it's going to be plus or minus. So all we need to do now is subtract 2/5. So x equals minus 2/5 plus or minus 7/5. So that's the solution to this quadratic. Okay, there are two solutions here. And again, you could use these two solutions combined with this maximum point and this intercept on the y-axis to actually sketch that quadratic. Then you'd see that it's going to go, you know, something like that. It will be n-shaped, have a maximum point. Not quite got that one right. It's going to be to this side of the y, but you could plot that more accurately on graph paper if you wanted to. Okay, so that's how we complete the square, where we've got the a coefficient here, where we've got it as -1 in the first example, and where we've got a higher number here, -5. Okay, if you enjoyed that, hit the like button and think about subscribing. Thanks for watching.